Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome to Stalingrad. This is a preview video of an up-and-coming map that will be added into the World of Tanks rotation. It's kind of like a Himmelsdorf meets a Runeberg with a slight bit of Ensk into it as well. And if those close quarters combat maps are your kind of thing, then stay tuned. I'm going to let you know everything that I currently know about this map. Not all of the areas of Stalingrad are closed buildings. As we can see here, the cap circles are fairly open. The map actually extends all the way to the River Volga, and there are trains that split this up. So that's a lot like Himmelsdorf and also a bit like Ensk, and I'm sure that they'll be fighting down here right along the front of the river, and also engaging those people from up above the trains. The vast majority of the buildings on Stalingrad are completely ruined, and it makes for a very dramatic and cinematic map. We really do get that sense of the 5 months of fighting that occurred at probably the turning point of the battle on the Eastern Front. The architecture, as we can see here, is rather impressive in Stalingrad, and it is true, or at least with some of the pictures that I've been able to find, of the buildings that were around at the time of the battle. Here we're coming into another one of the open spaces surrounding the cap circle, which definitely looks like it's going to be very open indeed. I can imagine that it's going to be quite hard to actually cap on this map unless you know that the enemy team are so far away that they're going to be able to make it back to defend without you successfully filling up that cap bar. There are some buildings, as we could see there just on the right, that you will be able to hide behind, but I highlight that these are on the edge of the cap circle and you're not going to be able to kite around the building when you're in a one-on-one situation, unlike you can on the Tundra map as an example. So this is the 9th of January Square, an area that was named, I believe, after Bloody Sunday, but please do correct me if I'm wrong. And what we see there, in this location, is a famous building called Pavlov's house, named after Sergeant Yakov Pavlov, who commanded a platoon that seized the building and defended it for 2 months, which has been featured in many other games, especially first-person shooters. After the war, Pavlov was awarded the highest honors, the Hero of the Soviet Union, for his part in the combat. And a monument, as we can see here, was erected to mark that very stubborn resistance that the Soviet army put up in this very intense battle. Here we can see it from a different angle, and a picture of it taken from Wikipedia. I personally think it's great that Wargaming are implementing these little bits of history into the map, and it just adds that extra bit of tangibility to the game that we play, to one of the most remarkable parts of our history. So here we can see the map of Stalingrad. Let's take a look at it into some more detail, and during some research that I did into Pavlov's house, I noticed something pretty cool. So here is a map of Stalingrad from 1942, which you can find in the US National Archives. And here is that map that we just saw in game from Stalingrad. Now if we take this and we overlay it onto that aerial photography, I think we can clearly see where it fits in to the grand scale of things. Wargaming have effectively recreated the actual dimensions of Stalingrad around the main square in the center for us to enjoy tank combat on. This reminded me of the recently added Kharkov map, where we got to see the very impressive Freedom Square. I think this is an excellent direction for Wargaming to take, and as I said, for Pavlov's house, I think it'll just add to the tangibility of the tank combat. Wargaming, of course, have only used reality as a base for them to then create a map which we're going to have great gameplay on. Both of the cap circles have been completely opened up, and the area along the east has been made smoother, which will allow easier progression for faster tanks to enjoy this battlefield as well. And I think that is one of the keys of Stalingrad. There had to be a feature where medium and light tanks can still feel that they play a pivotal role. If we think about Himmelsdorf, you'll generally go up onto the hill in your faster tanks. If we think about Runeberg, you're generally going to go up into that upper area of the map where you can shoot across the open fields and spot targets. I believe in Stalingrad we are going to see this eastern area here heavily used by faster vehicles that want to progress the fight and generally use their enhanced gun depression on the medium tanks to take out your opponents. So now I want to show you some leaked super test footage just to allow you to gauge the scale of this map. Remember that a lot of these textures have been enhanced since this video was made. If we zoom right out, we can clearly see where the base locations are, just how open they are, and this gigantic square in the middle of the map. These individual rectangular clusters of buildings are very likely to have singular combat. It's almost going to be its own environment where you're probably going to get engagements against either single targets or maybe even multiple targets. But there should be lots of opportunities to flank your opponents and hopefully outmaneuver them. All in all, I absolutely can't wait for this map. I really love the city-type combat that we get on, you know, Runeberg, Himmelsdorf, and Ensk, and to have another one in the rotation is going to be absolutely fantastic, especially so soon after we got, in my opinion, one of my favorite maps at the moment, Kharkov. I think this city map will be novel with its large open spaces, and with the area that it connects to the River Volga, I think there is still going to be a lot of fun for your mediums and your lights. There are also, as we can see here, just so many features that Wargaming have added to just add that immersion factor into Stalingrad. I also managed to ask the developers of this map a few questions that I was very interested in, and maybe you guys would like to know the responses. I asked about the features that we were able to look forward to. The answer was that their goal was to create a real historical Stalingrad at the beginning of the bombings. And also they wanted to have the balanced and convenient map for most types of vehicles, like on Kharkov. Next, I asked them about the development of symmetry in a lot of their map redesigns, and whether they considered this for Stalingrad or they're going to employ it for the future maps. Their answer was that they tried to stick to a classical style of city maps present in the game for Stalingrad, and they think that the players will appreciate that. I asked about what kind of gameplay features we can look forward to with Stalingrad. Their answer was that even before the Havoc introduction, this map will have destructible objects, so playing on the map should be fun and the gameplay won't be affected. One of the things that I expect a lot of you guys will be asking is, what was that artillery at the beginning of the video? It is in fact an artillery strike that will happen during the 30 seconds countdown before the battle starts, and it will destroy destructible objects, which can therefore affect the gameplay, but it's only minor, and the tanks will not be damaged. I guess that's kind of a cinematic entrance to every battle that you're going to have on Stalingrad. Currently, there is no encounter game mode confirmed for Stalingrad, but they're going to do standard for sure. And the map, unlike Himmelsdorf and Ensk, is going to be the same size as Kharkov, 1,000 by 1,000 meters. So there you have it, guys. That's what the developers were thinking when they were making Stalingrad. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It will really help the channel out. And let me know in the comments what you think about Stalingrad. Are you really looking forward to it, or are you maybe kind of disgruntled that there would be another city map so soon after Kharkov, and you'd really like sort of an open map to come into play? Now, let me know what you guys think. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.